My name is Ivan Anderson. I invented Email Pro. This is our first live performance of Email Pro. I know sometimes it's hard to tell what's real with Email Pro, but this is real. This is really our first live performance, and I am really the person who invented it. Is there anyone here who is not enrolled in Email Pro? Okay, I see a few hands. Okay, so there are some people who don't know what Email Pro is. Okay, well, I'm going to try to give like a kind of a quick explanation. It's not going to be very satisfying, but basically the way it works, it's like this free service where you get emails from me, I send you the emails, and then it's your problem. And that's kind of what it is. It's this thing where you just get the emails then and you got to just fucking deal with it. So we have a great show tonight. We're going to do a couple different segments. The first segment is a personal statement from me as the person who invented it. So I'm going to read the personal statement now. Personal statement from Ivan Anderson. 2 years ago, I was working full-time as a copy editor at a trade magazine. The office was on 28th Street, and every morning when I stepped out of the subway and onto the platform, there was an ocean of commuters all jammed together, making their way up the stairwell. And there would always be one guy coming down the other way, hacking his way through the crowd. And I remember one particular morning, this was happening. One person was coming down the stairwell, fighting his way through all the commuters, and a guy in front of me turned to the stranger next to him and shook his head. And I saw them share this little New York moment in the crowd, where both of them were like, "Can you believe this?" And one of them said, "It shouldn't be that hard. People coming down on one side, people going up on the other side." And then he rolled his eyes, like everyone was doing it wrong. Everyone was stupid, except for this guy who knew the right thing. So I decided to live in this guy's world for a second. If everyone going up the stairwell only used one side of it, then the other side would basically be empty during rush hour. All the commuters would have to use half of the available space. And for what? It would make the congestion worse. This huge mass of commuters would just overflow onto the platform instead of the stairwell and clog up the turnstiles. So this guy's big idea was wrong. It was a bad way to handle high volume traffic. But this guy didn't give a shit. He just wanted to be a know-it-all fuckwad. He wanted to talk to the person next to him and be the guy who's right. So I felt called to interrupt their little thing and be like, "Excuse me, no. What you're saying is false." But I couldn't really imagine having that combo. I didn't think I had the presence of mind to get into it without becoming a know-it-all fuckwad myself. So I didn't say anything. I just walked to my office thinking about that guy and why he was wrong. And when I sat down at my desk, I was like all horny and frustrated. And there was this like coating of film on me from that guy being annoying. And I wanted to get it off. So I sent an email to a friend of mine. "Dear Tom, how do I know if there's a scorpion crawling on my face?" That was the whole email, and Tom never wrote back. But it made me feel a little bit better, so I kept sending emails throughout that day. "Dear Tom, I'm doing a special diet right now where I only eat food out of saucepans. It's called the Selfie Stick Challenge." "Dear Tom, I changed the name of my house to Trey's Hub." "Dear Tom, I love your memories of Rio de Janeiro." So this is the point in the evening where I should admit that I don't really know if I can explain why I think those emails are funny, or why sending them solved my problem. But I gotta warn you that for the next 60 minutes of your life, you're gonna be sitting there listening to me struggle to explain it. My therapist said I have contempt for people that I think are know-it-all fuckwads, but that I also live in fear that I am a know-it-all fuckwad. And working in an office as a copy editor was dangerous for both sides of that. For instance, I used to bring in leftovers which I would microwave and eat for lunch. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but it's actually difficult to microwave something. The buttons. No one knows what the fuck the buttons do. And also, I'm talking about microwaving something in one shot, so that it's not too hot, and the middle is not too cold, and you have to stir it up and put it back in. Getting it right on the first try, that's fucking hard. But I decided to take it on. I made it my project. I wanted to find the exact settings so that I could warm up my leftover pasta and then instantly start shoveling it into my mouth. I began using the same Tupperware every time I brought in lunch so as to eliminate variables. And I educated myself about microwaves. For instance, do you know how the power settings on a microwave work? They don't make the microwave's rays stronger or weaker. The power setting just determines how long the microwave shuts itself off while your food spins around on that little plate. The microwave is always either on or off, but on lower power settings, it spends more time being off while the timer counts down. Maybe that's interesting to you. Okay, so over the course of months, I was zeroing in on the perfect settings, and I eventually found them. It turned out to be 7.5 minutes on power 40. If I ran those exact settings and the standard Tupperware was exactly full, the food came out being uniformly warm. So that was a personal victory for me. One day while I was using the microwave, this lady Carol came into the microwave room wanting to warm up her lunch. And she saw that I still had 6 minutes to go on the machine. And I was the only person in the office who used the microwave for more than 2 minutes at a time. Also, Carol used to get in the ring with me on copy editing shit. She used to complain about grammar stuff, even when she was dead wrong, and she was on the executive council. So she looked at the microwave and she said, "Is this for real? 6 minutes?" I was ready to say a lot of stuff right then. I was ready to go to the mat for my microwave settings, to defend the whole process, to be the guy with microwave knowledge. But I was afraid that if I unleashed it all, I would seem like a condescending dipshit. So instead, I just said it's real. And then I stood there looking at her, and she looked at me. And after a moment, she said, "Okay, I'll come back." So I was like, all right, that went pretty well. But then I got back to my desk and I thought, maybe that was too close. Maybe I've become too fragile. I've been touched again by fuckwad bullshit, and I needed to discharge it. So I wrote another email to Tom. "Dear Tom, much love to your family. How are you, bro? I seriously miss you, LOL. Something is legitimately wrong with you. You're a broken human being. I love your parents. They're so adorable. I feel sorry for them because they failed given how fucked up you are. But on the other hand, I guess I don't know your parents at all because if they created you, then they must be rotten inside. Anyway, I just want to say I'm sending much love to your family. How's your mom and dad? I bet it's difficult for them to face every morning because you're a disappointment to everyone around you, including me. I had to draw certain boundaries on my life, which include never talking to you again for my own health. That said, drop me a line and let me know how you are. I hope we get to catch up over Thanksgiving. Do you have plans? Please give my regards to your family. I feel profound empathy for them because you are such a failure that if I was related to you, I would actually kill myself. Hit me up on Facebook. I don't use email anymore." So that became how I faced my problems. I would sort of go into a fugue state and then write a lot of emails like that one. You gotta understand, as a copy editor, I was spending my days reading boring articles about the publishing industry, looking for mistakes, all day long, just absorbing errors, fixing grammar, unfucking up sentence after sentence. I became aware of certain trends in how people write, and the problem of know-it-all fuckwads became spiritual. I noticed that a lot of people fall back on the language of the human resources department when they write stuff, no matter what it is. I would edit magazine profiles with sentences like, "There's no explanation for said phenomenon at this time." What the fuck kind of real person would ever say that? "Look for updates in this space." Don't fucking talk to me like that. Not everything has to be written like we're getting some shitty presentation in a boardroom. People complain that everybody is too PC now, but I don't think that's our problem at all. The problem is that people think formal writing is supposed to sound like a PR firm put it together. And then I started seeing this shit everywhere. Not just at the magazine, but in subway posters, YouTube ads, other people's Facebook. I saw someone post a status update that actually said, "My son is a huge fan of Anonymous. Kudos to them yet again." Okay. Kudos to them yet again. It started to sound like the know-it-all fuckwads had co-opted reality. And then, one day, the carbon monoxide detector in my apartment went crazy. It started beeping really aggressively and also randomly. I called the company and held the phone up to it, and the technician listened and said, "Yeah, that's definitely a failure to conform." He said they would send me a new one for free, so I was in a good mood about that part. But failure to conform was the scariest shit I'd ever heard. Why can't you just say it's broken? Failure to conform sounds like pure evil. This guy on the phone seemed friendly, but as soon as he said that, I just assumed he had the capacity to inflict genocide. And then, you know, every day it was back to the copy editing. Every week, 40 hours of copy editing. And part of me wanted to use my position for good. Let's fight back. Let's fix all the sentences so that it doesn't sound like the Ministry of Truth. But I was also concerned about limiting my exposure. What if there was residue building up inside me? What if I was supposed to be taking precautions? And then, in the middle of all this, I found out about the squatty potty. My friend got that. Do you know what this is?
Yes.
It's a special thing for your toilet that changes your posture when you take a shit. This is completely real. It raises up your legs. And the logic here is that if you sit on a toilet the normal way, you either have to clip off the ends of your turds, or else you got to push harder to get them out. And pushing harder is supposed to cause health problems over the course of a lifetime. When I first heard about this, when I first learned that no one knows how to take a shit properly, except for anyone who has bought this one weird thing, it was worse for me than failure to conform. It was worse than being told that I don't know how to stand on the stairs of a subway station. I can accept that I don't have all the answers and that I'm not a perfect person. But I can't be told that every time I ever took a shit in my whole life, I was doing it wrong. Let me have this one thing. If sitting down normally and just letting the poop come out is not enough, then God help us all. Since day one, it's been obvious to me that the squatty potty theory of how to take a shit is corporate propaganda. We're supposed to believe that we can't even drop a deuce correctly, but guess what? There's a product you could buy that will fix it. This is the kind of ridiculous bullshit I'm talking about when I say the know-it-all fuckwads have been gaining ground. But you know what the squatty potty people say? Maybe the corporate propaganda is on the other side. Maybe the guys who designed normal toilets are the ones who caused this whole mess, because it's actually bad to poop that way. Ivan, why don't you listen to reason? Why don't you keep an open mind when new information comes in? That was a nice trick when my friend said that. I thought I was entitled to decide whether my own shits were killing me or not. In fact, I consider that a pretty small entitlement. Almost more like one of the initial conditions for human dignity. But if I was really going to be obstinate on this point, like if I was really going to insist that I know the answer, just because that's how it feels to me, what right do I have to oppose the know-it-all fuckwads of the world? That was a dark question. So around this time in my life, my emails to my friends got a little more intense. Here's one from November 2015. Dear Tom, I've always felt that the Harry Potter series is really, really great. However, it should have been titled Hogwarts Medical, don't you think? Because the main character is named Hogwarts. And the whole thing takes place in a medical tent somewhere in the central highlands of Vietnam during the Vietnam War. One of my favorite parts of Hogwarts Medical is when Butch is bleeding out inside the mosquito net. And he starts telling Hogwarts about all the prostitutes he killed back in Ho Chi Minh City because he knows he's going to die. And a raven starts pecking Butch's eyeball while he's talking and he's too weak to do anything about it. So he just keeps talking like nothing's happening. And then when the raven has pecked out his whole eyeball, he looks at Hogwarts and says, "Just tell me one thing, kid. What's it all for?" And then he dies. But Hogwarts keeps writing letters to Butch's family pretending to be Butch, as though he's still alive. I've always thought it would be cool if they made a Harry Potter spin-off. It was just an epistolary novel of Hogwarts' letters to Butch's family. It would be like an alternative universe kind of thing, because the readers would know it was Hogwarts pretending to be Butch. But slowly, Hogwarts would get stuff wrong in his letters, and then the family would figure out that it's not really Butch, but they wouldn't say anything so that Hogwarts could keep writing his letters as like a therapy. And then at one point in the book, Butch's daughter would protest the Vietnam War, and in the end she would die, getting a back alley abortion in the late 70s. But no one would ever tell Hogwarts. The name for this book would be Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire Part 2. Don't get me wrong, I love the Harry Potter movies. But one thing I've never understood is why they changed so much from the books. It's like, hello? Am I the only one that noticed they're pretty different? Like, just one example. The movies don't have the part where Voldemort comes back from Vietnam, addicted to opium. And he ends up joining a commune, but then he snaps and he goes on a killing spree. And unfortunately, Voldemort murders a bunch of hippies. Of course, the ending of the second Harry Potter book is actually a flashback in which Voldemort remembers having sex with a teenage boy in Vietnam. And he realized that the whole time he's been at war with himself, in large part because he was torn between the conception of homosexuality as a series of acts versus homosexuality as an identity. Voldemort is one of my favorite characters in Hogwarts, especially because you never know what happens to him after the 80s. So, at this point, my friends convinced me that it would be funny to send my emails to other people. Like, what if it became a subscription service and my friends could enroll other people they knew who would just get hit with some email shit out of nowhere? Initially, I thought that would be too weird. But on the other hand, it sounded like it might help me get through the days. It could replace my whole thing with the microwave since that project was finished. So I set up a new email account and asked my friends for referrals. And I started sending emails to strangers. Here's an example from April 28, 2016. Dear Joanna, Pat Manian signed you up to receive emails from me. I am starting a subscription-based email business, which is called Email Pro. Ha ha ha, it's literally that easy. Since we never met, I wanted to tell you a little about myself. My social security number is 666-001-987-2346-01. The extra digits are because it's a designer SSN that I got during my career as a media insider. I exist only in real time. I never heard from Joanna, but she did write to Pat. And since he's my friend, he forwarded me her email. Subject: you've been hacked, bro. Yo, just got an email from Ivan saying he gave him my info, and then he gave me the social security number, which was like 20 digits long. Some shit is mining your data, heads up. So that's a pretty typical response. In spring of 2016, I started writing emails to a lot of people, and sure enough, it did become part of my daily routine. Email Pro became a real thing, with subscribers in the hundreds. A lot of people react to the emails with some version of what the fuck. But the emails keep coming, and I guess everybody sort of learns what's happening. 58% of my subscribers have never written back once. They just receive my emails quietly without unsubscribing. Also, I assume a lot of what I'm sending is getting caught in spam filters, and that many of my subscribers don't even know that they're subscribed. But 28% of them have signed up at least one other person, so I consider the whole thing to be going well. Also, the reason I know all these figures is that I keep a spreadsheet that tracks how many people are in Email Pro, how many emails they've received, how many times they've written back, whether they've made referrals, and so forth. This is how I know, for instance, that 10% of people really hate it. 1 in 10 people unsubscribe from Email Pro. And I try to make it easy for people to do this. There's an unsubscribe link at the bottom of every email I send. But for a while the link was broken and I didn't know it. So a bunch of people tried to unsubscribe and I just kept sending emails for months. I had no idea until one of them wrote to me, "Your unsubscribe form doesn't work and I would really like to unsubscribe." I have no idea what this is or how I should receive these. I felt bad about that, so I tried to fix the link. And also I added a thing where people can say why they're unsubscribing. Most people ignore that part, but sometimes they fill it out and say things like, hate it. One person said, too many weird emails. And I thought that was kind of funny, because his reason for leaving is just a description of what Email Pro is. So as soon as people unsubscribe, I stop emailing them, even though I'm tempted to ask them a lot of questions. I regret the period when my unsubscribe link was broken. And the truth is that even though I thought I fixed that, it was actually still broken for another 7 weeks. During which time, more people tried to unsubscribe, and I just kept emailing them as though nothing had happened. So really, there have been 2 unsubscribe scandals with Email Pro, and I want to take this opportunity to formally apologize for that. I'm sorry it happened, and then it happened again. I swear to God, it was never my intention to harass people, even though it must seem like that's exactly what I was trying to do. To anyone who clicked on unsubscribe between December 2016 and March 2017, I apologize. But also, in fact, the first person who ever unsubscribed from Email Pro is a good friend of mine. And he was supportive, but he said it got to be too much at a certain point. His exact words were, I like Email Pro, so don't take this the wrong way, but fuck Email Pro. And it just so happens that this friend of mine is here tonight. And for the next segment, I want to bring him on stage to get his side of the story. You may know this guy as a comedian, but he's also a writer for the Nat Geo television show Explorer and the host of You're the Expert. Most of you will no doubt recognize him from his 2015 appearance on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Will you please welcome to the stage Chris Duffy.
Do I sit here?
Yeah, just sit there.
Hi. First of all, I love that I didn't know what to expect, and I would say that the fact that approximately the same percentage of the audience feels the way about this show as they do about Email Pro is perfect, I think.
Yeah, how do you know that though?
Oh,
I thought it went pretty well.
No, it's going great.
Okay.
90% love it, and 10% I won't point out that. I'm like, what have I gotten myself into? Also, just to explain how difficult to decipher Email Pro really is, I posted on Facebook saying like, hey, I'm going to do a show with my friend Ivan. You should come see this. And my friend Bianca wrote, oh, so sad I have to miss it. But also, how can I sign up for these emails? And then Ivan responded, and he was not joking. Bianca, I checked my spreadsheet, and I've already sent you 63 emails.
Yeah, she's been subscribed since last August. And actually, 2 different people signed her up.
Yeah, and then she thought like it was such a new thing that she was like, I'd like to be a part of that, and then she realized it was just this thing that she had always thought was actual spam.
Yeah, that was sort of a blow.
I think you very accurately hit the representation of what you're trying to.
Yeah, well, so
parody.
I gotta cut in here. So you know that because like she told you, but so obviously she never responded to any of those 63 emails. But then I commented on Facebook, like not being that weird. Like I thought that was the real Ivan saying a thing on Facebook, and she never responded to that either.
Yeah, well,
and I sort of wanted to know, like, what did you think this was? Like I wanted to. I mean, I'm glad she told you, and then now I know because you told me.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit like you can't just.
Well,
what's it going to take to get like one response? Like on Facebook in front of the whole world. Like,
well, a stranger did say to her, I checked my spreadsheet and I've been emailing.
You made it your way. That's why she got time. She made me.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I know who she is.
I will say, I also had dinner tonight with another comedian friend, and he was like, I'm going to do a show later on. Are you doing a show? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing one. I don't really know what to expect. It's like this like email clinic, Email Pro thing. I said it's like this email clinic. My friend like sends these emails that are like a parody of spam, and then people don't really understand what they are, and it's funny, and I don't know that anyone knows what to expect. And he said, "Wait a second, is that Email Pro?" And then he was like, "You're associated with that? I've been getting those, but I never understood what they were." Yeah, he said that they just go straight to his inbox. inbox though. He's like,
yes!
It doesn't go to spam.
Yeah, see, I don't really know what's happening on the other side.
Yeah.
So, because here's the thing, like, many people do write back, but they write back, like, also being weird.
Okay, well, also
so it's like I don't know what's, because people write back to me telling me like some crazy bullshit, and part of me is like, this guy really gets it, but then part of me is like, I sort of don't know what to say now.
Yeah. Listen, since you brought me up as the first person who ever unsubscribed, I want to just explain my side of this story, which is that I had a very good friend, one of my best friends, who I talked to, who was like, if I had a big problem, one of the people I would go and be like, hey, help me deal with this thing. And then I started getting truly bizarre messages from this person. And not like, sometimes, hey Chris, what's up? Just like exclusively strange messages. And many of you are on Email Pro, so you're exclusively getting email messages, but mine are coming in all media. In fact, let me just show you, I printed out some Facebook messages that I received. And these are from 2014. And I just want to show you how many there are. An important thing to note is I didn't edit these. You can see how they're all from one side. So this is like no response from me over the course of 6 months. All right, so I'll just read some of these for you so you understand. I'm like, oh, my friend, he sends me a message. What does the message say? It says, support our troops, end childhood obesity. What are your thoughts on the Common Core? Must needs be a way to emphasize science education at a young age. Also, kids should stay active throughout the day. Bring our troops home. And I was like, okay. So I did respond. And then 10 minutes later, Chris, where can I get this year's summer reading? I'm going to read the books early this year and then reread them in August. I'm going to do it right this time. And I didn't respond. Then 10 minutes later, probably going to finish all the books by July 4th. That's the goal. Then need to focus on childhood obesity for the middle of the summer. Before returning to summer reading at the end, gotta reread the books. I'm serious this time. From there, #1 priority is climate change, aka support our troops. Hashtag summer 2013. And this, he wrote this in summer 2014. And then I didn't respond because I didn't know how to respond to that. And then he wrote 2 hours later, wow, is it just me or is summer reading way harder this year? I don't even know what the books are. So then, two things that I want to just tell you that I looked up pretty soon after I started receiving these messages. One is the definition of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a form of bullying or harassment using electronic forms of contact. So far, exactly this. Cyberbullying has become increasingly common, especially among teenagers. Again, story checks out. Then I Googled something else, which also seemed to line up, which is, what is the average age for onset of schizophrenia? It turns out that in men, it's around 25 years old. So I was like, is my friend having a breakdown? It seems possible, because then I started getting these text messages. Again, no response. Hoping for meaningful dialogue in 2015. 5 minutes later, poop is real. 2 days later, I live in fear. No one hears my cries. 10 minutes after that one, because what concerned me, how many tech blogs do I need to start before I'm taken seriously as a citizen journalist? I think my cell phone is gay. I need more crucial life urines. You want to get lunch and die? Happy birthday, Chris. I love you. That was my real birthday. Then have a blessed day. I love Chandler and Dos Equis. Then the next day, new hashtag save Chandler. Now at this point, he started posting things on my Facebook wall, which just said like, hey Chandler, and then referred to Chandler from Friends. Then I got an actual package in the mail that just contained the DVD of VHS of Only Fools Rush In, starring the actor who played Chandler. No explanation. And then I got, I'm not exaggerating, truly a 475-page packet of summer readings. That seemed to be photocopied from an actual high school summer reading list. And so that's basically, this was the one where I sent Ivan an email and said, hey, I like Email Pro, but fuck Email Pro, because I was like, I don't know if I have a friend anymore, or if this is a concerning thing that I need to address.
Yeah, so I'd like to is there more?
Oh, I've got plenty.
All right, well, let me just address the controversy at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple things. I understand that was hard for you. I'm sorry. I did apologize when you talked about it, when you called me. I remember that phone call. You know, I remember sort of being weirded out too.
Why were you weirded?
Well, because, you know, I thought it was pretty funny. You know, like they laughed at it.
Yeah. Oh, it was funny. It was just so all-encompassing that I couldn't tell if it was real or not.
Well, so here's the other thing I just want to say, man, is that, like, you know, you're a stand-up comedian, and, like, you know, you had to, like, find your jokes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you went through some phase probably where you were, like, trying stuff, and, like, you were, like, pushing the form, you know, and you were, like, finding out what works. And so this was me, this was me doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, an email, just, like, because there are some people who, like, aren't in email pro, so I just want to do a little bit of damage control. And say that, like, when I started it with the email, where I got the email address, and people were like, you should do this, I like a little bit, I reined in the boundaries a little bit.
Absolutely, and I will say, I am the first unsubscribed, but I also resubscribed.
Yeah, you did come back.
And now I enjoy it. And now, the only two media that Ivan communicates with me through are Email Pro, in character. Email Pro is Email Pro, we have a normal friendship, and then I also wanted to read some of these, which are, you know, he mentioned that I'm a stand-up comedian. I receive, I would say at least once a month, a PayPal money request for somewhere between $75 and $99 from Ivan. And if the message says something like, Dear Chris, this is one for $75. Dear Chris, you should do a joke about how ISIS rhymes with crisis. Might not be the best joke ever, but at $75, it's an unbeatable value. Good luck. Also, this is non-refundable. Or here's another one. Oh, this actually relates perfectly to your squatty potty. For $99, I think it would be funny if you started your set by saying, I don't know how to take a shit properly. Please send help. This is not a joke.
That's so funny.
Also, here's some other great ones. Basically, I have more than 100. No, not more than 100. I have approaching a large number of great bits that I've gotten from just your PayPal.
Yeah, you haven't paid for any of them, though. You like them.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear you got a bit. It's going good now.
It's definitely, I'm not sure it's worth $99, but I'll tell you, here's another example of one, just so people really understand. A lot of them I can't say out loud because they're too filthy.
Oh, come on, man. Maybe this would be good for you. Like, did you ever think of that? Maybe you could grow a little as a comedian.
Here's a $99 one. You should do a joke about how it's screwed up that they make products to help you jerk off better, like fleshlights and the cream and whatever else. Who are the people who need to enjoy jerking off even more? If I felt like I needed to get more out of my masturbation sessions, selling me a product that would let me do so is solving the wrong problem.
I think you should try it in your set.
Yeah, I think that my only fear is that I'm not sure I can afford to try this.
We could, you know what? You could do it. You could like try one, like a free one.
Yeah.
And tell me how it goes.
I will. And I will say, I truly believe that Email Pro is hilarious. It's
Thanks
great.
for that. I appreciate that.
I think that it's also, part of what makes it hilarious is that it is so close to being written by robots that people who are subscribed by strangers feel like it is actually robots. Like, that's why Pat's friend's reaction is the best of all.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a hard line to hit. And also, it's just like now there's so many people, and I just got to keep sending emails. And I a little bit, like, I read that thing, right, where I sort of made it sound like this was like this, like, valuable emotional thing for me, which it was. And I'm, like, way past that now. And now it's like hundreds of people just gotta get the emails. I'm a little bit. I sort of ran out of material like 10 months ago.
Oh no, I disagree.
And I'm just like, oh, let's talk about like Derek Jeter or something. I don't know.
Well, one thing that I enjoyed at the very beginning was when you described Email Pro, you said like, I just send you these emails and then you just have to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
That's the definition of all email. There's other email types. Like,
yeah.
You get them and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I point out to people that you can like, you know, you have options. You can like click on it, so that's like a game, like the clicking game. And then you could like delete it. So there's like another maneuver. Then sometimes like, so the other thing is that there's attachments, but you have to unlock them. So right, I said I had the spreadsheet. I mean, like I guess a lot of you know this already, but maybe you don't. I don't know what people know.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe no one knows this. There's a spreadsheet where I calculate the engagement scores for every person. Like if you reply to the emails, your engagement goes up, and if you sign up other people, your engagement goes up. So once your engagement reaches certain things, you get extra stuff. And like I have these PDFs that I send, and there's this other, I invented a calendar. And actually, Jet Hunter's a calendar. So one day I was like in the fugue state, and I wrote this email that was like, there were 5 Spice Girls. They should make a calendar where they just divide the year into 5 equal segments, one for each Spice Girl. And then instead of months and seasons, it would just be like baby, scary, posh, ginger, sporty. And that would be the year. Because 365 is divisible by 5. So then I was like, you know what would be funny is if I like made that and then I just showed it to people who like wrote back to that email. And then so then Jeff, who was our live keyboardist, basically made it for me. And it was really, really intense, remember? Yes. We had to we made a spreadsheet.
So far the only 2 things people know about Jeff, 3 things are, he plays the keyboard, he created a calendar, and he uses a squatty potty.
Yeah, wait, so actually, we can go, do you want to talk about squatty potty now and come back to the calendar? Or talk about the calendar now and come back to the squatty potty?
Today's date?
I don't know, we'd have to go into the spreadsheet.
It's on the flyer.
Oh yeah, right, that's true, right. It's sporty something.
Sporty 680.
Right, so today's date in the calendar is 40680. One guy I sent out like an early version of the Spice Girls calendar where there could be a day 0, and there was a year 0.
Yeah, we had year 0.
Yeah, we had a year 0, but not a day 0. And one guy wrote back and was like, "How come the year is 0 indexed, but the days aren't?" And I was like, "Fuck." This guy's like reading this shit. And also the other thing was like, the Spice Girls is a dumb idea, but I wanted to do like the smartest possible treatment of the calendar. So like, let's take the stupid idea and then like, let's make something that can do leap years. And like, then I created seasons for each one. So like, scary is like whatever has Halloween in it, and baby is the first one because it's like, you know, birth and newness, baby, spice, so it begins with baby. And then posh is winter, because she's like severe and like aristocratic and cold. And then ginger is late summer, because it's like the red sky and like blooming sexuality in August. So that's ginger. And then sporty was like the neglected, anonymous one. So she's the part of the year that's like end of winter, before spring. It's like the shit time of year, like no one cares about or thinks about. That was sporty. So I was like, the calendar's got to be really well done, super rigorous. Only the people who write back are going to unlock it. And then the dude writes back like, "Oh, you didn't 0 index the days, you piece of shit." So I was like, "Oh, this know-it-all fuckwad." So I called Jeff. I was like, "Jeff, we got like crisis. We got to re-index." I didn't even know what it meant. I was like, "The 0 index is wrong." So we fixed that. And then also, the first day of the year is not January 1st. The first day of the year is whenever I sent my first email as emailpro@gmail.com. My first outbound email from that was the beginning of the year. So that's baby 00 is that. And today's sporty, right? Because it's like the sporty time of year.
Yeah.
Wait, right. So why are we talking about this?
Because it's related to email.
Right. Okay.
But the other thing that I wanted to ask you about was a thing that I've never fully understood, and I'm still surprised by, is it's not just everyone's getting emails. It's not like a mass email list. Like people are getting personalized.
Some do, yeah.
So there's a mixture of like Email Pro personal and Email Pro mass.
Yeah, right. So stuff like Hogwarts Medical, excuse me, Hogwarts Medical goes to everybody. Everybody gets BCC. The first email everybody gets is unique to that person, which is hard because I don't know anything about these people. But I just make up some bullshit. Like that lady got my social security number. It was like fucking way too long. I only did that one once. Everybody gets a new one for the first time. So if they respond, then we start ping-ponging back and forth. If they don't, sometimes I'll have a funny idea based on their name. Like sometimes I'll just change their name. Like the guy we named Daniel, I'll just call him Daniels. It's a little funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta write these emails every fucking day, so like a little I should. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, all right, that's an email. Let's send it.
Also, not an accusation, just a clarifying question. When you say I got to, you have to do these emails every day. Why? Who is making you do these emails every day?
Okay, well. I mean, like no one. Like that's the.
But it's like the rule is it has to happen every day.
Well, it's not. No, it doesn't have to happen. The average is like average subscriber gets 1.9 emails a week, and I try to hold that.
Wow.
1.9, but a lot of those are mass.
1.9 to each person.
Like the typical email pro, John email pro gets 1.9 email pros a week.
And so you try and hold it to that.
I try. If it gets low, I'm like, God damn it. And if it gets too high, I like stop for a minute.
And you're keeping that average in.
It's in the spreadsheet. Yeah, the spreadsheet is
it's not like
it's a
your
pretty
head,
involved
you're like-
spreadsheet. No. It knows a lot of stuff. It like knows the unsubscribe rate and like how many people make referrals and stuff. There's a lot of data there.
I think it's the right amount of emails per week.
You think 1.9 is pretty good?
Yeah, because originally it was like 72 per day.
Right. Well, I'm still writing a lot of emails. It was the problem is that like you're not absorbing all of it.
Yeah,
I
you
think
spread
it's the
out the
difference.
like film
Yeah.
buster.
Right. Also, a lot of the ones you read, I just had no memory of. None at all.
Well, I truly could pick from hundreds and hundreds.
I know. So hearing it again, I was aware. I was like, man, this is a little grim.
It's interesting because it's like, I didn't think it was grim. I thought, now in retrospect it's hilarious, but at the time I was like, what would the difference be if my friend was about to kill me? I couldn't come up with any difference. I tried to think, and I was like, the only difference is the ending. Right. And so now it's a happy, it turns out it was a comedy.
Yeah, right.
But it's like when they recut The Shining with happy music, you know?
I'm so glad you're getting these laughs.
Now
Such a good comedian.
I feel like it's shifting back into
Come on, no, we're good. This is healthy. I think it's healthy for both of us. Yeah, listen, man. I mean, I tried to explain it. Like, Squatty Potty happened, and at that point, I was just like, "This is war. Like, this is just war. You know, like somebody has to do something."
Yeah.
So I started writing emails, and that's my way of dealing with it.
What's your favorite response you've ever gotten?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, so the person who filled out the unsubscribe form said hate it. That was good. I was like, that person's kind of speaking my language.
And that was during the broken period.
Yeah, I got like 20 more emails. My favorite response. There are a lot of good ones. I don't know. They're all sort of crazy. I mean, I could go into the thing. That's the next segment.
I feel like the thing that's nice about this is like anytime you do anything that involves strangers and you interact with them, you're going to get negative feedback too.
Yeah.
But you've created a thing where the insanity of it lets you interact with them in a fun way. Like I got an email once where a guy like listened to my show on the radio and then went to my website, which takes work. You have to Google. I'm not even the first Chris Duffy that comes up. So you Google Chris Duffy, like got to Chris Duffy comedy. Then he went to that website and he sent through my email form. Hey, listen to your show on the radio. Is it supposed to be funny? It's not. And I was like, one, you went to a website called Chris Duffy Comedy. You know it's supposed to be funny. What question is that? And then he wrote, did I tell you this before? He wrote, his email address was brett@clavichords.com. So then I went, and it was just what I thought, like a weird stringed instrument website. So I wrote back to him and said, hey, comedy's not for everybody, much like clavichords. But then he wrote back, my show's called You're the Expert, and he wrote back, well, you're the expert. And I felt like I just couldn't respond past that. But I feel like in email pro, like Brett could have gotten thousands more emails. Like it would have been someone. Actually, what I should do is just sign Brett up. Imagine if he had sent that email and been like, I sing them so good. And then the next email he received was, hi Brett, Chris Duffy signed you up for email.
I mean, you could do it. You could do it.
Oh yeah, it's a little late now. That was like a year and a half ago. I think we both moved on.
Yeah. We can sign him up tonight.
Sure. I have to figure out, and I'm not sure his first name was really Brett. It was like a...
Alright. Well, if you want to if you find his email, forward it to me. I'll do it. I'll send him his first email, like with the projector on it. We can crowdsource the email to him. All right. Do that. I do want to get some. I want to talk about squatty potty.
Let's talk about it.
And you said you were okay with this.
Yeah, I did.
So first of all, I tried to be like generous to the squatty potty side.
Sure.
But if you like, did I get it wrong?
I don't know.
Like, when I was saying that shit, were you like, oh, that's unfair to squatty potty? That's not true. Like, it's true, right? Like the way I described, like the shit comes out of your butt straighter.
Oh, I think you got it right. But,
Okay.
I'd have to read the literature again.
Right, and so you don't think it's corporate propaganda?
Well, I don't know, because I like to be careful and scientific about things, and I haven't looked at any studies, so I don't know. But all I can say is from personal experience, it seems real.
It seems real. But were you aware of the negative before squatty potty? Like, did squatty potty come out and you were like, oh, I was just thinking, my shits are not happening right?
No. But I think I had heard years before about like Japanese toilets that are lower to the ground or something, and the benefits of those, something like that.
See, because I once used a toilet in a foreign country. It was like a hole in the ground, and I just squatted and used it. And at no point in that experience was I was like, this is the better way. And I did, and I remember thinking like, this is like dehumanizing. Like it just felt like, and it was Italy. I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like you guys were like, what happened to the Renaissance? What happened to that? That was like 500 years ago, and now I'm shitting in a hole. like I thought you guys had like figured out a couple things.
Maybe the point is they have figured it out.
Yeah, well, so I remember doing that, just being like, this is like not, this is like just, this is just shame. Just shame. And there was no toilet paper either, so I was just like, what, who's the guy who comes in here and like nails this? Like, what is the Italian dude who like walks in and sits down and then gets it in the hole, which was small, and then doesn't need the toilet paper either. It's just like, that's the end of that. And it was at a pool. So like if he goes back in, see what I'm saying?
You're 100% sure it was a toilet brush.
That's pretty good. You gotta see like a big request for that.
I'm joking as much as I'm just saying that sounds like a place that would have tubes in the ground.
Yeah, well, anyway, so that was a while ago. But I remember it was one of those things where, like, I'm a different person now. Like, that, the old me, whoever I was before I took a shit in that restroom is dead. It's like, now I gotta move forward with life and like, I'm carrying that with me. So I was,
Squatty potty is different than that.
But,
I'll tell you that much.
so how's it different?
There's toilet paper.
Yeah, but squatty potty can't be like, we're selling you this thing and then you can just keep using toilet paper. I mean, come on, that's corporate propaganda. Like, we made this product that has a net zero effect and you can use toilet paper.
Sorry, what's your point?
Saying like, there's toilet paper, like the fact that squatty potty doesn't prevent you from using toilet paper is no defense for squatty potty. Come on,
okay.
that's a real
That wasn't my point. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So what's the difference? How is Squatty Potty different than Squatty
Well, I
Potty?
just meant it's not, like to use Squatty Potty, you don't need to like go squat over a hole in 90s toilet paper.
Alright, so give us like the Squatty Potty experience.
You put your feet up on it, and that's it.
And it's like added to your toilet.
Oh, no, it just sits on your...
No, like you don't get a new, it's not a new toilet.
Yeah, it's like it's a piece of plastic.
Right, so you
It's
have,
a stool.
it's a stool. That you use to make stools. Dude, that's why poop is just, it's like a gold mine. It's just a common gold mine. I know you don't really use it. I've seen your set. I'm just saying like a little bit of poop, man. It really, it's funny.
I will say, I do have, I think the reason the poop has, the other thing I'll say about this, actually this does relate to Emo Pro, is one of the reasons why I now appreciate Emo Pro more and was disturbed at the beginning was when, at the time when I was getting Emo Pro at the beginning, before Emo Pro was Emo Pro, I was working at an elementary school. And so I would like open my email and be like, well, time to respond to some requests for homework from a 5th grader's mom. Oh my God! And it would just be like a diatribe about Squatty Potties.
Yeah.
So that, I was a little worried that I would lose my job and be listed on the registry. Now I, yeah. But there was a thing that happened at the school once with poop that I think is related.
Let's hear it. Let's go. Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, one thing is that a 3rd grader walked into the bathroom and opened up the soap dispenser and then pooped into the soap dispenser, which is like technically very impressive.
I wonder if you like practice.
Oh, it was like a diabolically genius practice. Because what happened was after like a few hours, the school started to smell bad, and then people were like, "Go wash your hands again." And we figured out what had happened. It was like,
don't wash your hands.
It was like a horrible Inception moment where we were like, the soap is poop, the poop is soap! No! That's pretty much the day I decided to quit teaching.
Yeah, so like did that kid have like a message?
I think that message was like some men like to just watch the
The Unabomber had like a manifesto.
Sure.
Like he was crazy, but the dude was like, this is why I'm doing it. Like,
Yeah.
did this kid have that?
I didn't ever read the 3rd grader's manifesto.
But no one said like, son, just talk to me for a minute. What's on your mind?
I imagine someone did say that.
Yeah, I bet it was rough.
I'm sure it wasn't a conversation where it ended with them being like, you know what? You did the right thing.
That's a scary thought. Like imagine if there's like just some array of sentences that the 3rd grader could say. And then at the end, the guidance counselor would be like, oh yeah, get it.
But it was like, what if all he said was, they tried to make me use the Squatty Potty?
Yeah, I mean, some people would get it. Like Jeff would get it. Right, that's a good place to start. Alright, yeah, I guess, I mean, do you have more stuff you want to say to make fun of me and get laughs?
Nope.
Great. Can you reach the projector? Alright. So you'll notice that it looks like shit, right? And that's because it's an old computer that can't run the modern browser. So we have to do it on basic HTML. But it kind of works for Email Pro. But before we do this segment, I don't know if there's any questions, also from the live stream audience. Because like I guess some of you have just been having to deal with Email Pro for a while now. So if anyone has questions, I wanted to open this to a quick question and answer session. Yes, I see one hand. What's the question?
Did Tom ever respond? So what? With what?
So for live stream, the question is, did Tom ever respond? Tom loved it. Like Chris, couldn't handle it, but Tom loved it. Tom was like, "This is funny. Keep doing it." Chris is a pussy. Another question, yes.
Yeah, I understand that Derek Jeter's been involved in Email Pro. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. So for live stream, the question is, can I talk about Derek Jeter's involvement? All right, so this is like sort of a deep cut. This is an email pro deep cut. So you know how I said like a while ago I ran out of material? At a certain point, I just started making up shit about Derek Jeter. And he became like this recurring character in Email Pro, and he turned into this like harbinger of the apocalypse. And I just decided that like Derek Jeter was here. He was like hundreds of years old. He was like he enslaved like the Egyptians. He was like he's just been here since day one to like invent baseball so that he could like debase everybody and then like end the world. And on slow Email Pro days, I would just like make up shit about Derek Jeter, and then that became sort of a recurring thing. But you have to like get a lot of Email Pros to even know that Derek Jeter is a character. Is that sufficient? Do you need to go more with Derek Jeter?
That's great, thank you.
Great, thanks for the question. Another question.
You talking about the editor?
Okay, so the question is about the editor. All right, so now you guys are really asking me to like explain shit about Email Pro. So the Derek Jeter thing is a little more complicated. I started saying that as the author of Email Pro, I was ghostwriting the autobiography of Derek Jeter. And I would like sneak peek, I would like give sneak peeks of it, and it would just be like utter insanity. Like the shit like Chris was saying that was kind of scary and weird was like that times like 99 trillion. And like the joke was that the autobiography of Derek Jeter was just like the work of like an apocalyptic lunatic. And I still kind of think this is funny because I think there's just this like vacant look in Derek Jeter's eyes. And like I've always kind of thought like it's not that much of a leap. Like I see his face now and I'm just like, I kind of believe it. Anyway, I started ghostwriting this autobiography, and I said that there's a spreadsheet and you can unlock stuff, and one of the things that gets unlocked is the first chapter of the autobiography. So if you like write back to Email Pro, I then send you this PDF at some point that's like purportedly the autobiography of Derek Jeter, and you find out that he's this henchman for this other figure named Darkmaster, who I don't even explain what that is. Darkmaster is just this like deep hidden, like if any of you like know H.P. Lovecraft, he's like one of those like remote evil gods. He's like Cthulhu or something. Okay, get back into your question. My idea for a while was that then me, as the author of the emails, who's ghostwriting the autobiography, would get the autobiography copy edited. And some poor copy editor who's like having a hard life because he's got to copy edit shit would have to copy edit the autobiography. And this is spoilers. Also, and at this point now, like live stream, this is spoiler alert. I think spoilers is bullshit and everybody just has to fucking deal with it, but some people lose their shit when stuff gets spoiled. So I'm serious, like if that's you, like you gotta leave or like stop the live stream because this is about to get spoiled. My plan was that the copy editor would like see this autobiography and just be like, this is totally crazy, what is this? But then he'd become this like reluctant hero. And the copy editor would like realize that there's some shit here with the apocalypse and Derek Jeter, and the copy editor would defeat me as the author of the emails, and the copy editor would like save the day. But I would just be me, and the copy editor would only be known as the copy editor. So that's still something I guess I'm gonna have to do. I like planned that, and then I got so sick of writing emails to like advance that like now it's kind of paused. That's the answer to the question. Other questions? It's okay if there's no more questions. I have another segment.
We've got 2 online questions.
Oh, great! Are you kidding? That's unbelievable to me. All right, 2 online questions. This is great. Let's hear it.
They're both from Dave Rangoviz.
Oh, okay, I know that person. All right, that's okay. That's all right. Let's hear it. What are the questions?
The first question is, how does the live stream ask a question?
Dave, love you. All right, great.
Second question is, curious what made Ivan want to take Email Pro offline and do a stage show?
You know, that's okay. That's a good question. It's just, you know, I said the whole thing about copy editing, and I was like kind of lonely and weird, and like even when people were like, oh, can I use the microwave? Like even that's like terrifying and bad. And so then I started writing the emails, and like even then, it's like if I get an email back, it's like sort of just more weird bullshit, and it's like people doing the thing I do, and it's like great, but I also get why it's like kind of sucks. I don't know. I was like, I wanted to like not have it be like some weird guy writing emails all the time. Like I thought it was kind of funny. I wanted to like do it live. I wanted to see like real people and like maybe have it like also I could be me. I was like I could explain why I'm doing this, and I could like maybe not appear to be a total psycho. So I hope I've done that. So that's the reason. I wanted to like come out of the darkness. I wanted to come into the light. All right, no more questions. Yes, one more question.
One more, but it's kind of strange to ask you to your face because it's a question for the email pro.
Oh, wow. All right, I might not answer, but let's try.
Feel free to decline.
That's fine. No, I appreciate that you're going there.
Have you been unable to even?
Yeah, that's a good. Let's do that over email. That's good, but that's like 2 email.
All right.
All right, what time is it? It's 10:39. All right, so we're gonna do the last segment. No more questions. Great. All right. Final segment. The final segment is I'm gonna enroll someone in Email Pro in front of you. I'm gonna write the email. Now I have like sort of a bad history. Like all those people tried to unsubscribe, and then that happened again. And then for a while, my emails were bouncing back as spam. So I'm like, I feel sort of bad. So for privacy reasons, I'm not going to type the email of the person this is going to. And I'm not even going to say the name of who referred this person. So I don't want anyone coming crying to me about like Email Pro's fucked up, because now I'm taking the precautions this time. Okay, having said that.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay, another question.
I signed up somebody named Sam.
Oh, are you,
You
Yes.
can say my name.
This is Jonathan
You
White.
never spell it right, though.
Well, that's Email Pro, dude. I mean, come on, like, have you
No, that's
listened
cool.
to
I
any
never
of
thought
this?
I'd get to see it, live signed up. That's
Oh, this is great. All right, so you're Jonathan White.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you signed up this other dude named Sam.
Yes.
Right, and then you were like, how come you didn't get an email yet?
Yeah.
You were like eager for Sam to get an email.
Well, no, I just like giving you a hard time.
Also fair. So we have a person here who I've never met. I'm Jonathan. It's nice to meet you. Here's the other thing about Jonathan is like you sent me an email one day being like, I want to be an Email Pro. So I don't even know how I got you. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Yeah, no, you know.
Well, I actually don't know because you just wrote me an email. And normally people say like you got to sign up whoever. So you come out of the blue, and then you sign up someone else I've never heard of. So for me, this is like a deep rando. It's like someone I don't know signing up someone I don't know. So I wanted to save this for the show, so that I can do what I'm about to do now. All right. So how do you spell your name?
Jonathan.
Okay.
Yep.
For Email Pro. So when I send these early emails, I like to have the first paragraph sort of actually be like real information. Jonathan White signed you up for Email Pro. Oh, this computer is moving the thing. Signed you up for Email Pro. This is a free service I invented called Email Pro. The way it works is you receive emails. You can unsubscribe at any time. So then, another thing I like to do is like, obviously this is already a little weird, but it's like all true facts. And like one thing I like to do is like, I like to have as much of the weird actually just be like straight up true facts. So this is a good time to do one like this. Oh God, the fucking cursor. Sorry, okay. This is the bit now. That's weird. All right, not in a paragraph. This email was written in front of a live studio audience. Sam's not going to believe that. I hope you. Oh God! What the fuck happened? Maybe I should just send it like that. I'm so nervous to try something again. I hope you are enjoying it so far. I like to think Email Pro is, I'm just reading here. I like to think Email Pro is safe and healthy. Alright, let's just read it. Alright, so does anyone, we're in this together now. So does anyone, Adam, what was your weird question that I couldn't handle?
You've been unable to even?
Alright, that's going in. Have you been unable to Does anyone else, John, do you want to tell me anything about this guy Sam?
He hates his mom.
Ooh. I'm like walking such a fine line already. Dude. Can you give me like anything else about this guy?
What color is his hair?
He has a mustache, and he's from Portland.
I understand you have a mustache. I hope you
It goes back.
are doing. Oh God, come on. I hope you are doing what's. Alright, this is going to be a short email.
Wait, it's right.
Alright, I'm sort of happy with this. Yeah, so he's got this he's got like the basic facts of what email pro is. That's like sort of an introduction to the tone. If this wasn't so hard to type, I might try stuff. But I'll try one more sentence, and if it gets fucked up, we'll just leave it. Tell me something. Sam, his name is Sam.
What's wrong with Sam?
That's a fine. I like that name. I actually do. My dad's name is Sam. I don't want to fuck with that. And I know that you guys have the same like email addresses at the same domain, so you guys like probably work together.
Yeah, we work together.
So what's the work?
Internet.
First this year. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with Alright, so I'm gonna, well, let's read it. Right, for the live stream people, like in case you can't read that, this is the email, it's done. Dear Sam, Jonathan White signs you up for Email Pro. This is a free service called Email Pro. The way it works is you receive the emails. You can unsubscribe at any time. This email, hope, was written in front of a live studio audience. Can I fix that? Do I want to fix that? Okay. I hope you are enjoying so far. Ian, healthy, like to think Email Pro is he's not even taking it seriously at all. Have you been unable to even? I understand you have mustache. I hope you were doing what's right for your family. I mean, that's probably the high point. Also, because like, how old is this guy?
28.
Oh, so it's like a weird mustache. It's like I'm trying. I don't know. This is my choice now. At 28.
This is like his fourth mustache.
Yeah, I could have told you that. I'm so glad you're doing internet. I consider myself an expert in internet. A guy first email. Guy. I mean, as the guy who invented Email Pro, I like to think my work is like better than this. But I've never done it live before. This is like the jazz version. This is like the free jazz version of Email Pro. So to protect this fucking schlub's privacy, I'm gonna go home and put in his real email address and send it tonight. You can check in with him. He's probably gonna have a lot of questions. You know.
He can address you directly. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying. Like sometimes people get these emails and they like have a minor crisis. So be ready for that. That's the end of that segment. That was the last segment. Thanks for coming, everybody. That's the end. I'd like to thank the Tank Theater. I'd like to thank Colin. I'd like to thank Rosalind for giving me this show. One more round of applause for Chris Duffy. That's what like a professional round of applause for Jeff.